Cry, a reflection on life's emotions and connections. Life is magnificent, yet for much of my journey, I didn't fully appreciate that. Despite thinking I understood its beauty, I now realize how constrained my early years were, particularly during childhood and adolescence. One parent did not allow me to feel freely, while the other nurtured me in a state of blissful naivety. I hold this second parent in great regard and love them deeply, though their overprotection limited my understanding of life's complexities. Much of my life has been marked by a sense of isolation, often feeling like a stranger in new places after countless relocations and betrayed by false friendships. Yet, this one parent, the one who supported me through everything, has often been my best friend, even in the darkest moments. For a long time, I carried the belief that men do not cry. But there came a point in my life when all I wanted was to break down and weep. The emotions were overwhelming, but I held back. Now, as I've matured, I find myself moved to tears at the beauty I witness around me. The simple magnificence of the world can make me well up, even if I'm still waiting for that long overdue, proper sob. Each time I think about releasing those tears, I'm reminded of my mother, of what I put her through. She stood by me during my darkest times, refusing to give up when she was told I would either die or remain bedridden for life. Her belief in me was unwavering, and that thought alone still brings me to the verge of tears. Through 20 years of suffering, she never left my side, and that loyalty always moves me. Now, as I reflect on the help I've been able to offer others, guiding them to avoid the same mistakes I made, teaching them how to navigate the challenges of life, and helping them find their own treasures, I am overwhelmed with emotion. I find joy in knowing that my work and experiences can benefit others. This sense of purpose makes me emotional in the best possible way, and I cherish the powerful feelings that come from knowing my work is meaningful. Embracing emotion and connection. I've come to see the power in vulnerability. I am moved by the simple truths that so many overlook: live, laugh, love, and, most importantly, learn. I believe that every one of us is capable of becoming the best version of ourselves, and that we are all here to share our discoveries with one another. It brings me immense pride to know that I can inspire others on this journey of growth. As I finish this reflection, I'm preparing for a much-needed cry, and perhaps some time with a friend I once thought would be the best I'd ever have. Update: that friend has since left my side, which has caused me to question my own judgments about people and their so-called truths even more deeply. Final thoughts. Life is an ever-evolving journey of emotions, connections, and lessons. As I continue to grow, I remain grateful for the love, learning, and laughter that have come my way, even in the most difficult moments. I hope that those who read this continue to embrace the beauty of life, share their truths, and keep learning along the way. Thank you for welcoming me into this space. Remember to live fully, laugh often, love deeply, and, above all, keep learning. Drunk driving, a reflection on 2 lives changed. I was involved in a severe car crash caused by drink driving. The impact left me unconscious for 6 weeks in a coma, teetering on the edge of brain death twice. When I woke up, I wasn't aware enough to return to normal life for years. I escaped legal charges for my actions, but I want to make one thing clear: don't think for a moment that this was unfair. I would have preferred facing fines, a ban, and the courts over the grueling 20 years of recovery I've endured since. In contrast to my own story, I want to highlight the journey of Michael Palermo, as he shares in his audiobook A Diary of a Drunk Driver. His experience provides insight into the legal consequences of drunk driving, something I didn't have to face firsthand, but his story is deeply relatable. Palermo's story, a sobering process. Michael Palermo recounts the moment when, after visiting his daughters, he was pulled over by the police while driving under the influence. It's a gut-wrenching moment, the realization that his life is about to change. He describes the fear, the regret, and the looming consequences. Palermo was over twice the legal alcohol limit when he was stopped, and his run-in with law enforcement marked the beginning of a long, difficult process. After a rough encounter with a state trooper and a breathalyzer test, he knew there was no escaping the reality of what he had done. Palermo was lucky with the judge; he was allowed to be free until his trial but had to surrender his license temporarily. Throughout his audiobook, he describes witnessing other lives unravel in court and shares personal stories, all while continuing to drink despite losing his driving privileges. The conditional license he was granted limited him to walking and using public transport, a far cry from the freedom he once enjoyed. When the court date arrived, the consequences became clear. If he pled guilty, he faced 3 years of probation, a jail walkthrough, 50 hours of community service, counseling, a fine, and the installation of an interlock device in his vehicle. The judge seemed to take a liking to him, emphasizing the need for counseling, and thus, Palermo began attending sessions twice a week for 6 months. He participated in both group and individual sessions where the topic of shame was addressed. His response was, "I made a mistake." The group reminded him, "We all make mistakes, just don't make the same mistake again." 2 punishments, 2 lives changed. Michael Palermo's story of probation and rehabilitation kept me listening for hours in one sitting. He ends his audiobook with a heartfelt message: drunk driving is never worth it. I echo this sentiment wholeheartedly. I, too, have faced a form of punishment, though not through the courts. My life was turned upside down by the crash, and I've spent 2 decades rebuilding from the wreckage, both physically and emotionally. Where Palermo's punishment was legal and structured, mine was a slow, painful recovery that redefined my existence. Both are troublesome in their own ways, but there are no benefits, no leniency, no silver linings to drunk driving. It can kill, destroy lives, and strip away everything you once valued. Final thoughts. In closing, I want to reiterate the lessons both Michael Palermo and I have learned: drunk driving carries severe consequences. You could face years of legal repercussions, or worse, you could lose your health, your identity, or your life. Whether the punishment comes through the courts or through personal suffering, the cost is far too high. I encourage anyone reading this to think twice before getting behind the wheel under the influence, and if you need a poignant reminder, Palermo's audiobook is an excellent place to start. His story will stay with you, as it has with me. Thank you, Michael Palermo, for sharing your journey.